Hello, I'm Skid from Widescreen Gaming Forum. Today I'm going to be giving you a look at Divinity Dragon Commander. Now, this game can be best described as just a flat-out strategy game. There's obviously a lot more depth to it than that, but it's fundamentally just a strategy game. As you can probably tell, multi-monitor support isn't brilliant, but fortunately this main menu and all of the direct sub-menus from it are largely an exception to the rule. We'll get to that in a minute, but if I first go quickly through the video settings. So yeah, as you can see, basically what's happening is the menu is designed for a 16:9 aspect ratio, and then it's spanning it, or stretching it rather, to fit my screen, but it's stretching it to scale, so it's chopping off the top and bottom as well. Resolution options here is natively available, so I didn't need to do anything special to get that in. You can see some of the other ones here that are also of a similar sort of scale. So nothing special done there. I've got the quality settings pretty much as high as they will go. Frame rates isn't too bad, but I don't think there's a SLI profile for it yet, so it can drop in places. And in some places it's randomly locked to 30 frames per second for some reason, but never mind. Other settings are fairly standard. I honestly can't remember what that button is. So you've got control settings here, which are pretty much useless to set up without being in a single monitor because you can't see the rest of them. Audio settings, you can pretty much change all of these, but one of the problems I've had is that I can't seem to find a way to use the mouse to click the OK and cancel button that are down at the bottom. So yeah, if you want to set these up, you want to set them up before you select your resolution, otherwise you'll have problems. You can change the resolution back down, but you will have to do it through the configuration file, which I think is in my documents. That's where I found it. You can't see it on here, but I'm playing the game on normal difficulty because my strategy gaming is not up to standard as it used to be. I'm not as good as it used to be, and I played a little bit on hard and it kicked my ass. So yeah. So let's go into the actual game itself. We're going to go, or I'm going to be starting from the beginning of Chapter 2, so there is going to be some degree of spoilers, but this is still fairly early in the game, so mostly it's still just plot points being set up rather than actually spoilers of how they conclude. So just to keep you warned, we will be continuing from there. So this is how at the beginning of every turn, because there's a turn-based aspect to the game, we'll get to that in a bit, it basically gives you some this little newspaper. These are my current standings between the Empire. Again, I'll get into that in more detail later because it's relevant. But for the most part, it just tells you roughly things that are going on. If you've made decisions, it will give you an idea of what effect they've had and so on and so forth. But mostly it's just there to sort of like tell you how things are going and just be there for a bit of comedy. Now this, I've been given, this is basically, it's a strategy card, so yeah, I can use this during the strategies phase. Basically a decision I made last turn has resulted in me getting this card, and then also the wages of my two female generals are gone up. And then Scarlet, which is one of them, and Catherine, which is this woman up here, have both gained extra abilities that will aid them when they're controlling my forces.
I have news for you, Commander. Great, grave, or gratifying, I'll leave its interpretation to you. The fact of the matter is your victories have gone far from unnoticed. That much you knew. But they have also gone a long way toward uniting a shattered realm.
Voice work in this game is good enough for the most part. I've not heard anything truly cringe-worthy in terms of how it's been, or how the voice acting has been presented, rather than any lines. So yeah, the voice acting is not bad. Pretty much at the minute I'm on, I think the ship is called the Raven. It's basically my command ship. But whenever you're inside the command ship, the frames per second always drops to 30 for no reason whatsoever. I can't work out why.
It has therefore been announced that you are to marry, for that will bolster the populace's spirit and cement your power as emperor. Soon the finest princesses in the land will be here, bidding for your hand in marriage.
So I don't have a choice in the matter?
Not as such, no. You don't want to get married, because that would be a bit of an imposition. The decision has been made, you see. Matters such as these, even an emperor has to accept without remonstrance. Still, there are worse things than tying the knot, surely. I dare say it will. But do not, please, take this matter lightly, Commander. Of course, I hope your wife shall turn out to be a charming girl indeed. But this, above all, is a political bond, meant to strengthen the ties between you and the faction she belongs to. Love, I'm sorry to say, has very little to do with it. But of course, I may be proven wrong. Perhaps it is even best that I had. Very well, Commander. And while you fantasize about pretty princesses, I'll continue my studies. Grumio may find his inspiration in dreams, but I'll stick to books, thank you very much. A wizard likes his nose between the pages, rather than his head in the clouds.
So, basically, a summary of the plot so far. Where's best to start? Say a summary and I can't even begin. Right, so basically there is an empire that is now at war. It used to be ruled by a single king or a single emperor who united the entire empire, but he was then effectively betrayed by all of his sons, with the exception of you, who is a bastard son, who also happens to be half dragon. If you're following that, you're doing well. The plot doesn't make, or isn't really supposed to make a massive amount of sense. It's interesting nonetheless, but yeah. So, while we're on the ship, we will go through some of the things here. Firstly, let's have a look at the popularity rating. As an emperor, you have to make choices that have political decisions, which you will see in a moment, probably. And what you choose will affect how popular you are with the 5 different races. Now, if you have a high popularity, then whenever you're fighting in their countries, you can just see it there, you will get bonuses. And in countries where you have less support, you'll lose stuff. So, country support boost. From what I am aware, I might be wrong, because as you can see, that is still being scaled and positioned according to effectively a standard aspect ratio, so it's chopping most of it off. Country support boost is basically the maximum number of troops you can deploy during a tactical battle phase, I believe. But there are effectively other negative things. As you can see, there's one above it, also resolve luck boost. So I think that says -2, but I don't know what the rest of it says. So yeah, that bit's broken, and basically little things like that are the only things that are still broken in the game, or broken once you're in here. So as you can see, this is effectively horizontal plus, but because it's got nothing over here, it's letterboxed, which isn't ideal, but this is basically just a static scene. Nothing massive goes on here, so it's not that important, so it's not a huge issue. So let's dive into the world of politics, which is another aspect of the game.
Commander, the war is displacing a great many people, and thus the influx of a great many foreigners into the realm is inevitable. Many of them are driven to crime by want or ill will. To that effect, I propose that if a foreigner is found guilty of an offense, he or she should be deported immediately. Delinquency is on the rise, and we need a few effective deterrents to curb its proliferation.
Right, so the dwarves are proposing that if we find anybody guilty of a crime that's an immigrant, we deport them. So, that's effectively the political decision I have to make. Now, as you can see, the dwarves aren't particularly happy with me at the minute. The elves and the lizard races are, and imps, they're not too bad, and the undead are on their way down. So let's have a listen to the fellow council members and see what they say.
Foreign criminals seem to abound like sand on the beach these days, Commander. Let's be rid of them like Falstaff suggests. In fact, the sea would be as good a border as any to make them cross. Yes, let them drown for their misdeeds.
No, I think that's going a bit too far.
Many criminals inhabit our realm, Commander. Such is the unpleasant reality. Some of them are domestic, some of them are foreign. Punish them when they are caught, but do not make the distinction.
Oberon and I are of the same mind in this matter, Commander. Deportation just seems a bit excessive. And I very much doubt it's the structural solution Sir Silvervein hopes it to be.
No, Commander. Falstaff has it all wrong. We imps force foreign convicts to do all sorts of dirty and dangerous jobs. Why deport when we can make them drudge?
Right, so that basically tells me that if I side with him, I will gain support from him and I will gain support from the undead. However, I will lose support from the elves, the lizards, and the imps. Now, the elves and the lizards, I could afford to lose support for. Personally, I'm not inherently against the idea. I'll be somewhere in the middle. If I left it to a vote, however, because you can do, if you refuse to effectively make a decision and then you go off and end the turn, they will vote or by majority rules, which would mean that that'll be 3 votes to 2, and I suspect the same penalties will be applied. So effectively I would lose support from the dwarves, which I can ill afford to lose. I'd lose support from the undead. In fact, I probably wouldn't even gain support from the elves and or lizards because I didn't even vote. So, am I willing to take the hit with the elves and the lizards? I need to try and keep them all happy. This is going to make more people annoyed than it is happy, but taking the dwarves down to minus 30% is not a good idea. We will come back to that decision in a bit. So let's meet our generals. So these 4 people here are basically my generals. When you go into tactical combat, you have effectively 3 choices. You can either go into combat yourself, or you can send a general in your place, or you can let your army fight on its own. Now you can only use or go into battle yourself once per turn, and only use each general once per turn. Excuse me. Using a general will cost you gold though. So let's see if they have anything interesting.
Combat and carnage! Huzzah! You showed them, Commander.
Nope, they've got nothing special to say. Basically, these are just standard questions you can ask them all the time. So.
Maxwell seems to think so, and he's a wizard. They have uncanny senses, you know.
Stand in the path of a dragon knight and you'll be obliterated. Once more, this has been spectacularly proven.
What a glorious battle you fought, Commander. Let's drink to your success.
Undead barmaid there.
You
Just
fight
because.
with cunning, Commander, and you lead by example. Your example, of course, was I.
So, we'll give you a little bit of insight into these 3 generals. Basically, he's a stuck-up twat. He thinks he is better than everybody, and I mean everybody. But he's still effectively very higher class, so he's pompous as well as being massively arrogant. He seems a bit sure, or a fair bit cocky. He's effectively a brute, is probably the best way to describe him. She... Does chauvinist actually apply to a woman? Basically, she believes that all women are better than men, period. No exception. So, the fact that I'm effectively a man, she doesn't particularly like me a massive amount, but she doesn't care much for these 2 either. None of them actually particularly care much for this guy here. And this one here, I've not been able to work her out much yet. She appears to be highly spirited. It's probably the best way to describe her, but beyond that, I don't know. So, let's move on and we shall meet our engineer. This is our engineer, and unfortunately he won't have much to say.
Fire and steel, cogs and wheels. Let's get cracking, my lord. Without delay, my lord.
He's basically responsible for researching all my tech. So these are basically the units I have access to and upgrades I have access to. I can use research points to purchase any of these ability, or this is a new unit and these will be abilities for existing units. Now there's 4 tiers, as you can see, and they're more expensive as they go, so effectively they unlock more powerful units. But if you just unlock really powerful units, so if we say this Juggernaut's heavy sea unit, strong against ground sea units, so it's weak against air. So if you went for this, someone else could just come in with a whole bunch of... Do we have them? Ironclads. That might actually do it. Ironclad is still a ship. It's not the Juggernaut though. So yeah, if you effectively went in with an army of those, you would obliterate them because they're weak against them. So there's strategy into which units you should take in. It's probably still worth getting some expensive units, but as you can see this requires 40 research and I've got nowhere near that in a minute. So with that, there's one more thing to show you on the ship. And this is effectively the library.
Praise be that I know more than 100 languages older than mankind itself. If not, these books would mean very little to me indeed. It shall be my honor.
And this guy lets me research abilities for my dragon. So these are very, very varied. So we have support abilities and attack abilities. At the minute, I don't have any direct attack abilities. Purifying Flame allows me to, heal units, effectively using my fireballs. Soar allows me to, or is a flat-out speed boost. Inspire allows me to inspire my friendly units to move faster and attack faster. Blood Leech, I think, heals me when I do damage. Ray of Power is a boost to 1 unit, I think. Yep. And then the other one I've got here is Fence with Benefits, which is basically a shield that I can throw down on one of my units. So direct attacking abilities would have things like Acid Blaze here, which basically turns my fireballs into an Acid Blast, which not only does direct damage but does damage over time. And then more advanced ones, because I actually have the ability to research these, like Breaching Fire, which increases my fireball damage by 100% for a short period of time, or Devastation, which increases my fireball damage by 33% part of the time. So that's that. Now let's head back to the bridge and we shall show you the strategic map. Okay, so as I said, this is the start of chapter 2, so effectively in the last chapter I was fighting for this island and it was a bit more zoomed in. This was all segregated like this bigger board is at the moment. So I'm here with 3 of my brothers. I've got one there who I have the feeling is going to be a royal pain in my behind, and then one here and one here. Now I don't have to worry too much about these two immediately, and basically this war is between all 4 of us. But the problem is, here's ships in the water here, and ships in the water here, and his capital is directly behind mine, which does not bode well. Now, in terms of the actual strategy of this particular, or the strategic section of the game, these are my units, and I can buy more of them here. As you can see, the scaling issue is still is applied on this particular map as well, but for the most part you can see them, they're just very, very large. There is, however, one glaring issue with this particular mode. If I right click, it's doing something, but you can't see it. The reason you can't see it is because it's there. So you would be fooled into thinking that it wasn't actually working, but you can get it to work, which is fortunate, because if you couldn't do this, you would be pretty much screwed. Basically, what this lets me do is I can use this to build buildings if this wasn't my capital, so I will get to capturing these in a minute, because that's effectively the plan that I'm going for. But otherwise, you also can use this to buy units. So these are all the units I can train, these are what I currently have on this particular island, and then I can always buy more of them. So as it stands, I have just under 40 gold, and I can build... My maximum population is basically defined by this number here, and that's how many units I can have in this map at the moment, total. So once I've bought 11 more, I think, units worth. I don't think it's individual units, is it? 5, 5, 1. So that's 10. Does that count as 3? Strategy gold. There must be units that count as multiple that I'm not seeing at the moment. But yeah, once I've reached the cap of that, I need to acquire more land before I can purchase more units. So, at the minute, alright, yeah, I've got 2 more transports here and here, so that's my 13 units. So, I would not be surprised if he didn't just straight out launch a massive attack right against me. But the problem is, if I try and attack him, he has more units over there. And I can't move all my units over there this turn. And in fairness, he can't actually attack me this turn because he doesn't have a transport nearby. So actually I'm safe. I'm safe for this turn, so I can go ahead and do what I was planning on doing. So the reason why I'm deciding to side with the L, or with the dwarves, or I'm going to side with the dwarves in that political decision, is because this little island here will net me 6 gold. And the second I capture that, I'm going to destroy this war factory here and replace it with a gold mine, which will double that to 12. So with any luck on turn 2, I should increase that gold count from 6 to 12, which will give me a massive boost. The other thing I'm doing this turn, I'm not going to try and capture this, because if I capture this land, these are neutral forces, I will gain access to these 2 fortresses. However, I only have one transport ship here, and if I build another one, I can't make it up to there quick enough. And I don't know whether or not his ironclad is capable of moving onto land and capturing this. So we'll find out in the next turn. So, we shall quickly go back and we shall sort out the political matters at hand.
Commander, the war is...
Okay. So, despite the fact it's going to piss 3 of them off, I need the support, or more support, for the dwarves and the undead. So I will incur the ire of 3 of them so that I can please him.
Capital, Commander. Let others provide for this petty riffraff. We'll have none of them no more. Solves jail overcrowding too. We're killing 2 burglar birds with 1 stone here.
Wonderful. Let's organize ferries to Shark Point. Once deported there, there's no way these vermin will ever make it back to our 7 blessed shores.
I think you're setting a dangerous precedent, Commander. Associate foreign with criminal, and you'll give rise to all kinds of mischief.
Mischief is an intriguing way of putting it.
Your call, Commander. But don't come crying to me if vigilantes sprout like mushrooms and start dispensing their own unique brand of justice.
This is sheer folly, Commander. Now we'll have to use domestic scallywags to do all the nasty chores. That's like discrimination in reverse.
So yeah, basically, I'll try and describe how best that these guys are pleased. So these are religious folks. They're undead, as you can probably see. So they actually worship, I think they call it the Seven. So they don't like it if we interfere in what they would consider God's work or anything along those lines. They actually, on the first turn, they suggested implementing conscription. So basically all able-bodied people that are capable of fighting should fight, which I elected to refuse. Obviously the elves are very much into their nature and into effectively being very righteous. The dwarves' primary concern is mining and money. The lizards are, what's the best way to describe them? I suppose more philosophers. They're probably the more intelligent of the three races. Is that a reasonable way of describing them? I suppose it is. The imps adore invention and building things and, more importantly, making things go bang. So that's basically the three races. But yeah, the decisions you make will affect your political overview and your popularity. So you have to balance what... You can stay effectively true to your own personality, but you could end up really isolating yourselves with one of the three races, and you're kind of supposed to be uniting them. And also, if you do piss off one of the races, then the likelihood is you could hamper yourself in some way that prevents you from fighting or defending a particular territory. So it's a matter of balance, and finding the right balance. So we shall go back to here and we shall prepare our turn. Now before I progress my turn, I'm hoping this is a stretch. I'm hoping that these transports are actually capable of capturing these territories on their own. Oh, I need to do research, don't I, as well? Now, what was I going to say? Yes, the card mechanics. Basically, these here are a whole bunch of cards that I can use during particular phases. So, combat cards I can use going into combat to either give me extra resources, unlock a special ability that I don't have access to yet. Oh, that's a powerful card. I think that's that might be a master ability. Strategic cards can be used during this phase of the game, so I can use this to sabotage hunter units in a particular country to prevent them from being able to move. It's not going to do me much good this turn. And this diplomacy card allows me to instantly build this particular building for free, which is useful. So... before I forget, I don't have a combat ability on my dragon natively.
Bravo, Commander! The lines of battle are redrawn with each. It shall be my...
Yeah, Aura of Annihilation is a master level ability. So I wanted to get myself one spell. And I think I wanted to get that because I need a damaging spell that I don't have one, so I may as well have a powerful one. Okay. After the strategic view. And just because I don't trust the AI to play fair, I better make damn sure I already have 3 transports, so... one movement point, one movement point, one movement point. 2 movement points. Let's get me a couple of hunters. Replace that trooper. Get me a shaman. I want at least 8 remaining so I can pay a general if I need to. So another grenadier will leave me with 10. I need 8, so I can buy something a bit more expensive. Let's buy a hunter. That should leave me with 8. Okay. So, next turn. And now everyone will progress. He's used a card, he's used a card, which we can't see. Right, so that answers that question. I can't capture a territory with... Oh crap, he's building a lot of units. Time for some R&R because I didn't attack anyone. So let's see. Dwarf popularity has gone up, undead up. Imps down, lizards down, elves down, so pretty much as expected. Great, I've now got 2 cards that can... Ah, that's a sabotage card. I thought there was a build card as a sabotage card, that might be handy.
They are here, Commander. The fairest maidens to be found. Here in the hope you will take their hand in marriage. Gathered aboard are Lady Lohanna of the Elves, Lady Ida of the Dwarves, Lady Camilla of the Lizards, and Lady Ophelia of the Undead. Godspeed, Commander. I wish you the best of luck. Heavens no, we wouldn't want to make a scene. The rejected princesses will be disappointed, and their counselors furious. No, once you have made your choice, inform me of it in confidence, and simply be about your business. I will take care of the rest.
I'm curious.
There was an incident. Best not to mention it.
Okay. An incident. I'm suspecting it had something to do with explosives.
That would have been politically inopportune, Commander. Don't tell me you take after Edmund and dislike anyone who is not of your own species. Any of these princesses will make for a loving wife and bring you great prosperity.
Right, I guess I have a decision to make. In fact, by the looks of it, I have 3. So this is basically telling me that there is things going on in this area, and I can't go back to the strategic map, I don't think, until I've done this. We'll come back to that. We'll see what these guys have to say.
Shopping for a spouse, are we, Commander? I wonder what the return policy on these princesses is. No refund after they've been used?
I envy you, Commander. You 4 women here begging to make her yours. Bloody hell! I wish I were a Dragon Knight.
You dragons sure have a nice time of it, Commander. Who's it gonna be? That elf girl is cute. I mean, you know, not that I've been really looking.
This is all too disgraceful. Parading these women around like prize cattle. Whatever happened to marrying for love? What happened to respect? Outrageous.
So yeah, pretty much standard responses from the generals. I expect he's waiting a decision.
All this lovey-dovey stuff is wasted on me, Commander. But you go ahead and see who takes your fancy. Elf, dwarf, lizard, undead. They are all represented.
suppose I best talk to them, I suppose. Let's talk to their
The
counselors.
Seven have graced you, Commander. For today they bring before you Ophelia, daughter of Everking, sovereign of the Skeleton Spire. More splendid princess is not to be found. Marry her, and the gods themselves will bless your union.
Go on, girl. Don't be shy. Answer the dragon.
My lord and emperor, I stand here before you because I was bid to, and thereby was I blessed. I am not worthy of your love, but should you choose to honor me with marriage, I should take it as a sign the Seven still savor my soul, and it will be my unwavering endeavor to earn the trust and affection you would bestow upon me. Grace be unto the gods, and unto you, my sire and king.
Well said, my dear. That settles it, does it not, Commander? How can any man even contemplate the hand of another woman when he has met fair Ophelia?
If I talk to her directly, is it going to give me the same
The
responses?
Seven have graced you, Commander.
Yep.
For today... Well...
It's your lucky day, Commander, for I have with me the famed beauty Ida, Princess of Hammerdale. Dwarves have come a-courting her from each part of the realm, clad in solid golden belts, beset with diamonds, wielding axes so sharp they can cleave rock. Bold warriors that alone could face an army, but none has laid claim to that purest of rubies that is her heart.
All right, Falstaff, put a sock in it. I'd rather see you drink than drivel. So unbecoming of a dwarf.
Yes, well, there you have it, Commander. Lady Ida. To her very good health, I say, and your future happiness. I'm sure it'll be a blissful union.
Why, yes, my little dandelion. What woman in her right mind wouldn't want to marry an emperor? 'Tis a right treat that you're not so bad looking either. But power, my lad, that is why we do it. The power of the dragon. Me? I do have a few personal stakes in this as well, though. My father, see, may the plague wither his pecker, is a right old rotter whose company I'm desperate to escape. Put a wedding ring on my finger, and your ship will be my home. I'm sure we'll get on like two pups a play.
No, I don't particularly like her.
What a strange day this must be for you, Commander. Having to receive princesses who are strangers to you and choose which one of them you would spend your life with. Strange for the princesses themselves, too, Prospera. For they are put on display like cows on the market. And I am not a cow, kind sir. I am Camilla, a princess, rather reluctant to take part in this charade, but willing to do so for the benefit of all lizards. To be perfectly frank, I don't know if I really do. Your Highness, please forgive her, Commander. Nerves, you see.
I appreciate her honesty.
One, there is nothing to forgive, and two, I am calm as a frozen lake, so hold your tongue, Counselor. Now then, let me elaborate. Unlike those other girls I've seen shipped here by their aspiring ambassadors, I am not one who spends her days in palace rooms having her nails tended to. I've studied law and am now Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of my native land. I am a woman of the world, Commander, knowledgeable of matters of state. A royal marriage such as ours would constitute a political bond, not an amorous one. Though perhaps in time a reasonable amount of endearment may bloom. Wonders never cease, do they not? Lizard and dragon. It would be an advantageous union. Think on it, Commander. What ambition I have compels me to hope I will be your cow. Or should I say choice.
Come on, up you stand, back straight, chin high. The commander is here.
He's trying too hard.
No, you are not daydreaming, Commander. This is not a mirage that would trick your eyes. This unearthly beauty is real, and her name is Lohana, princess of all elves, the fairest fruit ever plucked from our green mother's world tree.
He's trying way too hard.
I'll give you a moment to compose yourself, for not many can gaze upon her and be undaunted by the sight of purity perfected.
The best reason of all. Love. Or so I hope. I have heard of your deeds and seen your portrait. Ever since, I admit I've been quite smitten with you, and when news of impending nuptials reached my dainty ears, I made certain Oberon would move mountains to ensure I'd get a chance to meet you. I know the very idea of love is often met with sardonic laughter in royal circles, where it is derided as a pleasantry that peasants may indulge in, but I would not have it so. Let love be your reason too, O dragon, should you contemplate our union. If not, I think I'd rather not be chosen.
Now, dear, don't put the commander on the spot. He's already head over heels in love with you, no doubt, as are all who have taken but a single look at you. And think of elven interests. We would have the dragon as our closest ally.
I've already made my decision, I don't need to think about that.
All this lovey-dovey stuff is wasted on. Wonderful. Who is the lucky lady? Really? I mean, of course. Very good. Perhaps now you'll truly garner the goodwill of the gods.
Reason being, in my estimation, she is the nicest personality, despite the fact she's dead. Or undead.
Allow me to be the first to heartily congratulate you, Commander. I will make discreet arrangements for her stay and the departure of the others. All will have been taken care of when you return from the battlefield.
It also helps the fact that it will give me a boost to the undead. So we'll find out the consequence of that next turn, I suspect. Right, so first turn here didn't go as planned. Let's move... Can I get... Yeah, I can capture all of those, so that's not a problem. They're troopers, 3 troopers, 2 armors, so in theory I can move both of them down to there, one of them to there, move one of them to there. Let's get these transports back to my base of operations, back up to here. I can get some reinforcements out. We'll move that troop onto there and we will move him over to here. Damn it, I can't move him onto there this turn. Never mind. So it's still going to be an extra turn before I can get the gold from that. I have... Are they really thinking of attacking me? I have the ability to instant build a... to research. Yeah, instant build a tavern. I may as well use it. Play a card in there, build a tavern, play a card. So, more units. I have 9 research points. I'll wait until I've got 10. I have a decent amount of transports already, a decent amount of armors. How much spare money do I have? 15. So I need to keep 8, which means I can only spend 6. I think my math is right on that. Oh no, I can spend 7. So I could buy another hunter. Should leave me with 8. need to start getting those forces down here. Hopefully, he will try to attack. And hopefully, he won't. So let's see how this goes. Right, he's moved all his transports over there, so he's going to move out soon. I can skip this, can't I? There we go. Someone's engaged me in combat. Right, we have three ironclads trying to take out that transport. I've not done sea warfare before. Chance of winning 0%. Oh, this will not end well. I've not done a sea battle before. I have no units. Will I be able to build any units? Do I even have any sea-ready combat units? In theory I should be able to use air units as well, but that's a defensive air unit. Screw it. We need to show you the tactical combat anyway, so that will give me not really much of an advantage, but still it's better than nothing. Excuse me shifting around. So it's already added all of these, hasn't it? So Saw is passive, we'll put that over there. Bloodleech is passive, we'll put that over there. Okay. You're limited to a total of 9 abilities, but they can be passive or active. But they're 9 abilities within your entire set of abilities. So since I have less than 9, I can still use them all. I could have used a battle card to give me another ability, since I was taking the dragon in, so I could have given myself that master level ability. But fighting it over effectively what's water rather than land would be a bit of a waste. Now here's another issue that you will not be able to see. I'm keeping a very close eye on my hard drive light because it will not auto start the level. It will say loading done, press any key to continue, but we can't actually see that. So looking at the hard drive light, still loading. Still loading. I'm assuming that's actually it loading rather than me writing this file to the hard drive. That looks like it's done, so we'll mash a button. Okay, so this is at sea. There's my base. There's his base. Is there anything out here worth grabbing? No. So I need to move these guys over there fast. Now, as the name implies, you are a dragon commander.
What's the medical emergency?
Why didn't it capture that to begin with? That's a pain. Yeah, I can only build transport ships.
Won't that use too much fuel?
Unload, unload, unload.
That's impossible, Commander.
How do I unload? There we go.
The Emperor shows us the way. We'll crush them one leg at a time.
Get your ass over there quickly. Hopefully, I can spawn the dragon before they get here.
Construction in progress. Construction underway, Commander.
At your service. Won't that use too much
Is he
fuel?
coming after him?
Yeah,
I hope so. That would be useful. Capture me that. That there. Don't worry too much about them. There's nothing you can do about them at the time being.
Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. Will be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress.
Exciting. Let's go.
Will be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress.
19 seconds.
Construction underway, Commander.
Let's play Bring Up Round the Roses if they really want that transport ship.
Will be built in a jiffy. Anti-ground turret completed. Anti-ground turret completed.
Moving out.
Okay, let's summon the dragon.
Anti-ground turret completed.
Damn it! There's a lot of anti-air here. There is a lot of anti-air here.
Unit will soon be ready.
Not built yet. Nope.
War factory completed. Construction in progress. Will be built in a jiffy.
Show me my
Construction underway, Commander. Your unit will soon be ready. Your unit will soon be ready.
Right, let's get a dive and attack in there in a minute. Need to take those those out.
Anti-ground turret completed.
There's no I in T. There is a me in there somewhere, though.
Anti-ground turret completed. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander.
Come on, summon in the dragon.
Impossible, Commander.
Good, they don't care about me at the minute. That's good for me. Ah, they're healing.
Your unit will soon be ready. Sure, there's an interesting case.
Damn it, I wish I knew which was good against these like there. Naval
Unit will
units.
soon be ready. Took an arrow to the knee.
Come on, die. Before they get in range. Here come the missiles. Not enough! Bollocks! Base trade.
Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Will be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress. Will be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress.
Hail and kill.
Out of recruits? Oh, because they're damaged. Bollocks.
Horse of steel riding out.
Heal him if you can. Well, that kept him alive for a little bit longer. Am I out of recruits entirely?
All is ours for the taking. Warlock ready for action. I'm going. Of course, my lord. We fight for freedom.
I think I've used all of my... all of my abilities to summon the units, so I better finish these guys off as quick as I can. Are they retreating? I think I've got this. Summon the dragon in? Nope. Yes! So that's basically the tactical part of the combat, and I think you've seen pretty much all parts of the game now. So that was a close fought match. One of their units survived, but has fallen back. There's been a battle there, and they've lost. There's been a battle there, he's lost. Imp Princess died during hide and seek the lit fuse game. Ministry of Education demand nationwide ban. Well, I called it. I said something to do with explosive was probably involved. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. I won't go through any more of the game just in case I do any spoilers, but it's certainly an interesting mix of different things, but it's reasonably fun, and certainly the combat as a dragon, particularly on a triple monitor system. I mean, while I didn't actually say while I was there, but you probably did see the HUD was in fact centered, and the game does render horizontal plus. So it's brilliant just flying around with the dragon and annihilating things, but my dragon's a support dragon, so it dies pretty quickly if I take it straight into the fight. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm having a bit of fun with it. I'm hoping they will fix some of these issues. There was something I read somewhere, but I can't remember where it was, that gave indication that they was at least considering multi-monitor support. So it's worth keeping an eye on. As it stands, I'm not aware of any fixes for any of the issues that there are, but most of them can be overcome just by effectively knowing the key or knowing what buttons to press and where things are supposed to be. So like on the main menu, if you memorise the position of all of the main buttons, you'll be able to navigate your way around it. But anyway, so yeah, reasonably enjoyable game, but thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.